How did you become a community president here?
If I go a little back, I'm actually a latecomer in ISKCON. I joined when I was 50. I was a businessman before, and I joined in Switzerland, and I was looking all over Europe for a service because I wanted to retire. I found it in Bangladesh, and after 7 years there, somehow I get a call I should come over to the United States and serve as a temple president in New Vrindaban.
Do you have a mission statement for New Vrindaban?
Our mission statement is going back to Srila Prabhupada. Most of the devotees know that New Vrindaban is the first farm community in ISKCON. And Srila Prabhupada has given us so many instructions. In a summary, Srila Prabhupada has given us 5 main instructions. First is to protect cows. Second one, to be self-sufficient. Third one, to be a replica of Vrindaban or a place of pilgrimage. And the fourth one, to have education. Education for our members, for the devotees, but also for the wider world. And Srila Prabhupada says, over all that, we should love Krishna.
I met the devotees in my country, which is Argentina. That was in '82. And when I came here, I saw cows, I saw countryside, I saw lakes, I saw devotees working the land, I saw devotees following, the religious principles, and it was a big inspiration for me. And in the last 5 years, I played different roles. I was restaurant manager, kitchen manager, vice presidents. My main role is to run the lodge. We have a lodge here with a capacity for 292 people.
Okay.
And we have 60 rooms, and we have 11 cabins plus 1 apartment suite. So I'm overseeing all that operation. Hare Krishna, Lokadriste. How many guests are arriving tonight?
Oh, we have about 300 guests arriving. The whole lodge is full upstairs, the ground floors are full, the cabins are all full, and we even have some people up in the ashram.
Wow, that's wonderful.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. I'm gonna be in the office if you need me. Okay.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Joyshri, where did you first meet the Hare Krishna devotees?
I'm from Hawaii. I was raised there. My father did business there, and we had quite a kind of an opulent lifestyle, but I decided that wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So I started looking for God, and it took me roundabout and back to Hawaii, and I saw a poster on a bakery window out in the country. And I went to this address, and there was Srila Prabhupada by himself, telling us to come up, and so Srila Prabhupada was the first devotee I ever met. And he started talking about God, and in the course of his conversation, he answered all of my spiritual questions. And I'd been looking for the answers in a person to help me understand.
What steps have you taken already towards self-sufficiency?
Well, we've been here a long time and had a lot of different gardens. The big garden up above the cabins is very productive. We have all kinds of fresh vegetables. We have asparagus growing in the spring. In the summertime, they plant all kinds of greens and root crops and pumpkins and squashes. A lot of the vegetables we use in the summertime are fresh, they're organic. We have our organic milk.
When I first came to New Vrindaban, it was almost exactly 20 years ago. The first thing that I ran into was the cows. I got to learn how to milk a cow. We would herd the cows in the fall from the pasture down to the barn.
You just had a new arrival at the barn. Are you happy with that?
Oh, we're really happy to see a healthy boy calf. He was born a week ago, drinking lots of milk. I was excited to get a male calf because we're trying to increase our herd here.
Do you feel at home here in New Vrindaban then?
Yes, it's a very nice environment to live with nature and to be surrounded by the cows. The cows are so much in the mode of goodness. When I first met the devotees, I was on a vegan diet. So it was a learning experience for me to take care of the cows and see when the calf is there, there's so much extra milk. It's a natural gift that the cows are giving. The Vedic way to do it is to boil the milk, and then add some yogurt culture, churn the yogurt into butter, and then we take the butter and make ghee. So we have our own supply of milk products. There's no shortage here.
The deities in our community are the center of all of our activities, basically. Our way of worshiping God is through our deity worship on the altar. Every tradition has a different way they worship God, often through an icon, a cross, or a holy book, but there's always a focus of worship that symbolizes God.
Yeah.
So in our tradition, our deities are the central point of our worship. They are made in the image of the descriptions of Krishna.
Yes.
So we cook, we sew, we make flower vases and garlands, thinking of God while we're doing those things, and we offer them to the Lord.
The main spiritual inspiration in New Vrindaban is, of course, coming from the deities. Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra are very attractive, and they catch the heart of so many. In addition, of course, we have full programs on the weekends that we have lectures in between, storytelling about Lord Krishna's adventures. We have this parikrama path, which just has been speaking about. We go to the cows, we speak about the history of New Vrindavan, we speak about Srila Prabhupada.
New Vrindaban is very dear to Srila Prabhupada, and what we're trying to offer now on behalf of Srila Prabhupada is an alternative lifestyle to what people are doing now in cities and all around the world. So we had a strong spiritual program which starts at 5 o'clock in the morning and goes up to 9 o'clock in the evening. That people, when come to New Vrindaban, they see that they connected to God, and they see, that they can advance in spiritual life.
Is that from the teachings of Lord Chaitanya? Shri Harinam Prabhu ki jai.
Cheto darpana majana Bhava mahadavagni nivapana Shreya kedava chandrika vitarana Vidya vadu jivana Anandam buddhivadana.
You have just built this yoga shala. What is the intention?
The Yoga Shala is the latest edition of New Vrindaban. It is the intention that we use this facility for retreats, for conventions, for lectures, for yoga, of course. And it will help us to establish New Vrindaban more and more as a place for retreats.
Yes.
We know that we have to attract people through different features. And events we can actually organize at this Yoga Shala will help us to attract many more people to New Vrindaban and show them, of course, our wonderful nature. At the same time, give them some understandings about our scriptures, the meaning of life, and what are we doing here day in, day out.
Pizza, we have a nice veggie pizza, cheese pizza. That's good. For Indian specialties, or idli sambar.
The reason that I came to New Vrindaban is because I'm originally born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which is only 90 minutes away from New Vrindaban. And they have opportunity for work and service in Govinda's restaurant. And also I can do some vegan, vegetarian baking. Also, there is a school here, and my husband and I do have a 2-year-old son, so that was part of the attraction as well. New Vrindaban's Govinda's restaurant is very successful. There are lots of visitors that come, day visitors. Anyone that's coming to stay overnight in the lodgings, always come visit us at Govinda's. We have hot masala chai starting in the morning. We always have a wonderful lunch and dinner menu, and we have our buffets during the week. I know that we, each year, the sales have been growing and growing, so we know that there's always so many wonderful people coming in. From what I've noticed, a lot of content, happy customers. Yes.
The garden is actually called the Teaching Garden. It says Garden of Gratitude, but it's also a teaching garden. Teaching people about herbs, about gardening themselves, about the ecology of the land. It's meant as a picking garden for the deities. They make all the garlands, they pick the flowers and make the garlands. I make vases out of all the flowers there and over there, like the zinnias. Quite a nice place to come. Our guests come in from across the street. They come and mill around and they ask about the gardening.
We have so many visitors. Every summer we get a lot of families visiting, a lot of people who are interested in cows, and we are able to give them a chance to milk a cow. We have very gentle cows.
How do you encourage young people to take part in spiritual activities?
New Vrindaban is an aging community. We definitely need more youth involvement. So we have taken different initiatives. Very recently, we've started talking about how we can encourage and inspire youth or the second generation to move to New Vrindaban and take more responsibilities. In fact, in ISKCON New Vrindaban management, we have now several young managers. And for the locals, we organize different youth-related festivals, such as Festival of Colors, where we have about 3,000-4,000 young and family members come and take part in celebration.
Okay.
And we also organize different kirtan festivals. As you know, they love chanting festival, kirtan festival. So lots of young people come to New Vrindaban. We also like to organize a structured spiritual training programs for inquisitive young people to learn about Krishna conscious philosophy and lifestyle. And after that training, if they like, they can stay here and contribute.
I've seen a lot of extraordinary achievement. New Vrindaban is very fortunate to have so many talented devotees here. That since I came here 5 years ago, I've seen the full renovation of 60 rooms in the lodge. Then I've seen the renovation of 11 cabins, and I've seen the construction of new rooms with attached bathrooms. And there's a whole plan structure to carry on constructing more accommodations and improving the temple grounds and premises. So I'm really happy to be part of that.
Pratipadam Purnamrita Svadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam.
Well, I was born here in 1977 in what was the cow barn. Above the cows, some of the married couples would live there, and the warmth of the cows would keep the upstairs warm. I lived here from the time I was born, pretty much solid until I was 12, and then off and on till I was around 18 years old.
What were the highlights for you growing up in New Vrindaban?
I'd say one of the biggest highlights was the close connection that I created among my peers, because although we were in a boarding school, which had its own challenges, lots of challenges there, the close connection and relationships that have been maintained over the years with those brothers and sisters was wonderful. And also there was a lot of nature, being close to the earth, and in a spiritual environment was very nice.
We have had the realization in the last few years that a temple cannot organize a full community. We have therefore decided that we will need a village association with all the residents participating, and they would elect democratically a village council. Currently we are in the phase to more detailed and define the responsibilities of each legal entity in New Vrindaban. Eco Vrindaban, who takes care of the cows and the food production, ISKCON New Vrindaban, which is the temple, and the temple is taking care, of course, of the place of pilgrimage, preaching, spiritual education, and the village council, who hopefully will take care of a number of important items for the residents, like the school, community events.
Well, I have two roles in the community. One is the manager of the construction and maintenance team, and I'm also a member of the village council. On the construction level, we have this trinity of gods in the Vedic culture, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And in this trinity you have Brahma, who's the creator, and Shiva, who's the destroyer, and Vishnu, who's the maintainer. But we are worshippers of Vishnu, who's said to be the supreme person, and in that he has the role of maintenance. We go through all those different phases. So we go through the fun phases of creation and destruction, and we're upgrading, New Vrindaban, so we're maintaining what's already been created, and that's the harder part. So we've named our workshop up top the Vishnu workshop to remind us that maintenance is what the key is to sustaining the community, relationships. I believe not only in my role as construction, but in my role as a village council member, is bringing in that sustainability.
The mood among the residents in New Vrindaban, I would say, is family-oriented. And I also see a lot of seasonal workers, people that are coming to the ashram or just wanting a spiritual experience. The environment and the residents accommodate, whether it's to serve or to enhance your spiritual practice. There's always a mood of acceptance and support.
Devata, when was your first meeting with the Hare Krishna devotees?
We had there was a Be in the Park in Vancouver, and we went there from Pender Island, and it was a gathering there. There was a rock band or something like that, and we wanted to see the rock band. But over in the corner there were these devotees, and the sun came out, and they were dancing, chanting, and they looked like they were from another planet. I had to go over and talk to them. And then that winter came along. We didn't have a place to stay, so my wife talked to some of the devotees at another event, and she went back to the temple with them in Victoria, and she came out to get me after about 3 hours of being in the temple and said, hey, we could stay there. We could stay at the temple. And then we got transferred to Seattle Temple, and we always wanted to be in a country ashram. An invitation came under the door in our little room there, come to New Vrindaban. That was 1972.
What was your main involvement with the community?
In the beginning, it was working with Paramananda and the horses. And the horses were the power, to plow, till the fields, grow the crops of corn and hay. And to mow the hay, to gather the hay in wagons and bring it into the barn for the winter, for the cows.
It's really creating the mood of Vrindavan. Prabhupada wanted New Vrindavan to be a holy dham in the West, and this is a chance for people to know what Vrindavan is about, Krishna and his cows, and give them a nice place to live and care and so much affection that cows always reciprocate.
What's the plan for the new male calves?
This is something that's really important, is, not only to take care of the mother, but the bull is the father. So giving the oxen a chance to grow up with training them how to pull, plow, was something that Prabhupada wanted, was simple living. Means working the oxen, make sure that the oxen have a life full of human interaction and training, and they get to also serve Krishna.
And New Vrindaban was really, really beautiful, beautiful place. Even though very rustic, it was just, we actually had to walk up the 3-mile road to the old Vrindaban farm where actually Prabhupada came for the first time. There was just a few devotees in the old farmhouse there. Mm-hmm. And so immediately, I started working on the road. We had to live in a little cabin, and then I started working. They just acquired another farm 3 miles down the road. It was called Bahulaban. We were acquiring land all the time. And now there's about 200 or 300 devotees here. We were engaged in more cows, and looking after more cows.
What are your earliest memories from living in New Vrindaban?
I remember when we arrived in August of 1974, we came to the farmhouse down the road. It's about 4 miles down the road, and it was called Bahulaban. That was where the temple was, where Radha Vrindavan Chandra lived at that time. The community was very simple at that time. I remember that the water was very cold. There was no hot water, and we took cold baths. I also remember it was simple, but it was really sublime. Even when it was really freezing cold in the winter, like the winter my son, when I gave birth to my son, it was one of the coldest winters, and we had to wear 2 pairs of gloves. There was just such a community spirit because we were all performing the same austerities. We were all going through the same austerities, so you didn't really feel like you were alone. You felt like you had a group, and we were all committed to serving Radha Vrindavan Chandra. So it was just so simple, and we had our services, we knew what we were going to do, we had our purpose, and it was really a beautiful time.
What kind of phases has the community gone through?
Well, we came in 1983, and things were in their heydays. There were 800 devotees here. This lake out here was just being built. This building here had just opened, and there was all kinds of things going on. We were laying the brick roads to behind the palace and down by the temple. We were part of the outside community. We had very good PR and such. And then as things progressed in time, things changed naturally. A lot of devotees moved off the property into different areas because they started raising children, needing jobs and homes. And then there was a point where we didn't have hardly any money to keep going, which was years later. Tourism wasn't booming like it is now. And then things went up again. We got good management. We got a new fundraising team here. And now it's back to being glorious and active, very active. We have festivals all summer.
Which festivals have you been celebrating recently?
Just recently we had Balaram's appearance day and of course Krishna's birthday. But we had also the Labor Day weekend, which is a very big weekend for us in New Vrindaban. So many visitors are coming to visit us. But overall I have to say we have about 28 festivals over the year. It starts in February with Nityananda's appearance day and it ends with Thanksgiving, end of November. But we have another very special one in New Vrindaban. It's the Swan Boat Festival. We start mid-June until mid-September. Every Saturday night we bring Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra to the Swan Boat. And the boat is coming along and giving darshan to our pilgrims. They are singing the holy name, standing on the ghat and highly appreciating that in this very special atmosphere at night they can have darshan of the Lord. And of course at the end we have some fireworks which ends actually our nice festival every Saturday night. We can see improvement in New Vrindavan on different levels. On the spiritual level, on the devotee level, we are currently in a phase where we are working on different challenges in relationships. On the material level, we have been investing $6 million over the last 7 years to improve our facilities. And we receive many positive feedbacks from our pilgrims that they highly appreciate the infrastructure we can offer them and they feel really pleased with the comfort that they need, that they can really focus on Lord Shri Krishna.